Thank you everyone for joining the Google Cloud Infrastructure Spotlight. I am Nirav Mehta with the Cloud Infrastructure Product Leadership team at Google. Broadcom is a well-known name. It's actually the company that has acquired other big names like CA, Symantec, Brocade. It's a very prolific company with a big footprint in the IT industry. And today I am absolutely delighted that Ganesh Janakiraman has joined us to share some of Broadcom's journey on Google Cloud. Welcome, Ganesh. I'm thrilled to have you here. Why don't we start with a quick introduction on what is your role, what does your team do at Broadcom?
Hey, thank you, Nirav. It is great to be with you. My name is Ganesh Janakiraman. I work for Broadcom Software, and I head the platform engineering team here at Broadcom Software. My team is responsible for the cloud architecture, cloud infrastructure, uh, transformation of products to being cloud native, and DevOps as well.
Yes, and Ganesh, you and your team had the unique challenge of integrating a lot of prolific companies into a global infrastructure and to transform it. What is involved, what stands out to you in what was involved in bringing these companies together from an IT perspective?
Broadcom is well known as a key player within the hardware industry for several years. It's one of those well run, most profitable companies in the hardware space. In the last about 3 4 years, through acquisitions of marquee names like CA Technologies and Symantec, Broadcom today is one of the largest enterprise software companies in the world. With CA, we have industry-leading solutions on the mainframe side, on enterprise software, on infrastructure software. And with Symantec, we have a strong cybersecurity products and portfolios, right? So this is a wide range of product portfolios that we manage and run. And this runs on-prem, SaaS, cloud, you name it, right?
Yeah, a lot of SaaS properties, on-prem, hybrid, but your goal was not just to integrate these technologies, but actually make them thrive and transform the IT stack. What were some of your objectives in how you wanted to transform them, and then how did you end up with Google Cloud?
Yeah, interesting question. So with these acquisitions, again, both CA and Symantec themselves were acquisitive, as in the portfolio of products that were built through several acquisitions as well. So one of the key drivers for us was to standardize and optimize a common platform where we could run all of these services in a common way, right? So that is one of the key objectives of the effort. And towards that, we landed on Google Cloud as being that common platform, and Google Kubernetes Engine in particular as the orchestration layer, where we could run all of these products as containers, and that could scale, right? So that is one of the key drivers of getting to Google Cloud. And as I mentioned earlier, these products are of varied technologies, come from different vintages. In some cases, some of them are like modern microservice-based architecture. Some of them were built like in an earlier era. So it was a good opportunity for us to modernize this tech stack into a standard operating platform, and to look at common strands of operational efficiencies that we could leverage across all of these products. And net, if you ask me, we wanted to offer something that is more than the sum of these parts.
That's well said. Yeah, and there is no playbook for integrating companies at this scale. So I'm sure it was exciting and a lot of learnings. In fact, let's make it real, with how you started with your very first workload. Talk to us about what that was like. I know it was quite a high wire project.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there were several of them. I think one of the most important ones was this product called Web Security Service. And this is a product that was running as part of the Symantec portfolio. in several data centers across the world, offering offering a critical technology in terms of providing security to most of the Fortune 500 companies in the world, right? So one of the objectives, based on the nature of the acquisition, was for us to shut down all of these data centers and migrate these products into Google Cloud. And we had set an ambitious target of about 6 months to get this done. And within 6 months, we had to transform this product to be able to run on Google Cloud and to be able to finish all your standard software development lifecycle in terms of having this tested, validated, deployed. And we are happy to report that so we did the acquisition, I think, in November of 2019, and by April, all the key milestones were achieved, and by June, we had shut down all the data centers that I talked about across the globe. So this was an effort where we had to do it seamlessly, because there are again a lot of critical customers. They leverage these products, and for us to achieve this without any downtime, without any customer impact, was a key part of the success story.
Yeah, I recall that being super impressive. So, let me just repeat what is most critical. 50 data centers migrated in 6 months. The underlying application modernized, integrated into Google Cloud, and all this done without downtime. Uh, Simply impressive. And all this doesn't happen without a strong team that is taking this challenge and upskilling themselves. Uh, we'll get to how did you go about training this team and making sure they come for the ride. But before that, what were some of the key benefits that you saw as a result of this global migration? Operationally, technology-wise, what are the ways in which you are seeing the benefits now?
So one of the key parts of the transformation journey, to re-architect the product, and just not do a lift and shift from point A to point B, re-architect to a point that it can run on a common platform, right? So with the common platform and standardization, there are several benefits that we could achieve, right? In terms of efficiencies of scale, as well as in terms of purely liberating the developer from having to worry about what runs as the underlying platform, so that the engineering teams can focus on what they do best, which is to build world-class software. And also, as part of this effort, we standardized on something we call as a common CD pipeline, wherein you could deploy any piece of software across this heterogeneous environment that we have, running in development, staging, production in any region of Google Cloud. With a single pipeline, you'll be able to deploy a product anywhere, anytime, when you need it, right? So to me, like, that was a single biggest achievement, where we are doing about 6,000, 7,000 deployments a day without any human intervention, where the developer is able to push code into any of these environment when they want.
That's tremendous. So, a big agility gains, but also resilience and modernization. So, coming to my previous point, how did you go about training and upskilling your team?
Training was a critical part in terms of where we needed to be. Again, like, people came from diverse backgrounds with the different levels of skills, right? So it was important for us to upskill them and reskill them to be able to be more cloud native, to understand what Google Cloud was all about, and to understand all the services that it had to offer. And because of the global nature of this endeavor, we had to work with thousands of engineers across the globe, different continents, different time zones. So we had to plan different types of training, actually. So some of them are like the virtual classrooms. We had like several self-paced training and several instructor-led trainings, workshops conducted by the Google product management team. So we had like trainings of all flavors, so that people could take benefit of whichever method they could to upskill, reskill themselves. So as a result of that, what we saw was um, an increase in the consciousness in terms of the cloud itself. And more importantly, we pride ourselves being a cost conscious culture where your developer understands what it costs for us to run the software in the cloud. So for them to be able to make these smart decisions that will help the customer, add value to the customer, at the same time, build it in a way where there's a bang for the buck.
Very impressive. Why don't we wrap up with maybe a few lessons that you learned from the overall migration? What stands out?
Yeah, it's a huge project, and there are a lot of challenges, right? I mean, we were anticipating a lot of challenges, and there were challenges, right? And the good part about this is like we worked as a team, and to get there, like there was a synergy, top down within the organization and across organizations between Broadcom and Google, right? So people understood what they were embarking upon and the value that we add at the end of the day for our customers mainly, and for ourselves as organizations, right? So towards that, because of that clarity of purpose, it was a lot easier. Having said that, we hit a lot of challenges during this process, and we had the fortune of working with some of the best engineers on both sides between Broadcom and Google. And Google was happy to partner with us, troubleshoot issues, find innovative solutions, and be there when we needed. So that way, we were able to get through this journey successfully.
Thank you, Ganesh. I think the feeling is mutual. We are absolutely delighted to have you and your team as partners and looking forward to doing much more. Thank you for listening, everyone.